Hello and welcome back to the Who Cares Anyway podcast. We are live and it is Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you've all had a wonderful day. Hope you've all had a less stressful week than some of us. If I sound like shit, it's because I've been fighting a cold all week. You know, could be better, could be worse, but what are you gonna do? But I'm not going to let that dissuade me from having a good conversation about some movie news. And good God, hello. There we go. Much better. Anyway. Kees, what's up?
Hello there.
And I thought you weren't going to be on today.
Hello there. I wasn't going to be on today initially, but then I saw that you were going to do the movie news all by yourself, and I was like, I have some time to do that, so why not?
Okay.
I can join. I have not much to do on my Friday night because I have no life. Anywho. What's up, everyone? Let us know if you are in the chat watching. We are early. Yes, I know. That's a crazy thing that we
Don't get used to it.
Don't get used to it. Yeah, I just had a week of night shift, which is my favorite shift, if you don't know. And because that means I have a long weekend ahead. So that's always fun for me.
But it is a bitch just to record around, so... Well, okay.
No. This weekend is the best to record around. It's just the other weekends are a bitch.
Well, but it's also...
you mean the night shift?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I wasn't on for a reaction. I know.
And I like having you on for reactions because that's kind of your show. So we don't have a host. When we don't have a host, it's a little weird.
Is it though?
Yeah, but it's what are you gonna do?
Not much.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do want to say today I have watched John Wick 3, which is a pretty awesome movie. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot better than the second one because I'm not the biggest fan of the second John Wick. I thought it was fine. I like the first one a lot. I have more respect for that movie than I like it, but yeah, I do like it quite a lot. But this one, like, the action sequences were so great. And if you haven't seen John Wick 3 yet, like, just fucking see it already.
Just the Continental alone in 3. Good God.
Oh, like the what happens in the third act is just
glorious.
Oh, it's so good.
And you know what? Okay, actually, I lied. So I loved how in the third one, they sort of repeated the awesome mirror effect sequence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I was happy with that because of course that's my favorite scene in John Wick 2. Because I loved every single second. I loved how it was lit. I loved how it was shot. I loved how it was edited. Same thing in John Wick 3 when they bring in, that beautiful sort of Hall of Mirrors kind of look to it, and then the action just picks up, and you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was very happy to see the guys from the raid actually do something in this movie. Take that,
yeah.
Force Awakens.
Yeah, hello, Force Awakens. Where were you? Yeah, the map off the raid. Oh my God, it was great. It was also awesome that they were all lying on the ground and they're like, "Hello, Mr. Wick. I have a lot of respect for you, Mr. Wick." Okay, and they pick him up and they continue the fight anyway. That was just so awesome. Like it was so dry, but it was so great. Keanu Reeves, he is so badass in these movies. Like, holy shit.
Like, these are Keanu's movies.
Absolutely. Like, if you ever thought, if you thought, because to be fair, Keanu Reeves had a lot of like career-defining roles. Neo in The Matrix is big for him, or like a couple of his other movies, like Speed or Point Break. He has, or Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, actually. Um, but John Wick is his career-defining role, I feel. Like,
Yes.
seriously. In all three movies, how Keanu Reeves just just does action, period, and also portrays a true character. I'm like, yes, all the yes. I will see any of these movies on any given day because they're so good.
Yeah. And you know, as kind of coming back to what Whitney and I talked about briefly last week, it's because it's so simple. It's
Yeah,
simplicity at its
yeah,
best.
yeah. But the simplicity is what works because well, to be fair, sometimes it's difficult to be simple in that regard because the John Wick movies do something that sometimes seems extremely difficult for action movies to do, and that is to simply keep the action in frame and not shake the camera. Those are two things that, for some reason, action movies these days don't seem to be able to do because for some reason they need to shake it around and they need to cut and cut and cut and cut so that you don't follow anything going on because they mask stupid bullshit choreography. That's what these movies do. I mean, uh, okay. Quick spoiler for John Wick 3. Turn off the audio for a few seconds. The best ever kill that I've probably seen in any action movie ever is in this movie. And it's at the very beginning. It's within 20 minutes when John Wick stabs a guy in the eye. And you see it so horrifically and gruesome. And it's like, oh my God, he's doing this. He's doing this. Oh my God. Like, you cannot believe it. And it's insane. And it's awesome. And the fact that they did this is like, yes, all the yes, please do more of this because it's seriously one of the best things ever.
I was gonna say,
Right.
yeah, the theater I saw this at lost their goddamn minds,
Like
and it was
holy
great.
fuck,
It was just great.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, these movies are fantastic. Honestly,
What
they're probably, I'd say, probably the second best trilogy to come out this decade.
besides?
Again, for me, How to Train Your Dragon, but
Okay, that yeah, no, that's fair. How to Train Your Dragon is pretty awesome. John Wick is pretty awesome. Okay, you
I say
know,
you see my conundrum here. So it's like you got the one that all ages can appreciate, and you got the one that men, especially old men, can just be like. But then the women can just take a look at John Wick and take a look at Keanu still being as sexy as all hell, and just be like,
oh, and I do want to say, for the women, if you want a badass action heroine, Halle Berry was actually really good in this movie.
yes,
I did not expect her to be any good because usually she isn't very good, you know. I mean, she did fucking Catwoman out of all movies, but she was actually pretty good in John Wick 3.
see the
And
fun thing the fun thing about about Halle Berry is literally anything she's in that's not a blockbuster, she's great. She's kind of like
yeah,
Natalie Portman in that sense, where you know
yeah,
anything she's
yeah,
in that's not a
no,
blockbuster, she's great and deserves all the Oscars. But you put her in a blockbuster, for some reason, it just doesn't work.
just disconnect for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, but no, that was that was a fun little side tangent there. I liked that, you
Yeah,
know,
need to bring it up.
and it certainly beats the other fucking movie that you saw today.
Let do I have to?
We are still in October. It's still the month of horror.
Okay,
Just
so
just quickly mention.
in honor of the month of October, Irina and I are watching a couple of horror franchises. As I said, we were watching the Nightmare on Elm Street series. However, we were waiting with the remake until we were drinking. I'm drinking, so we saw a Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake. Oh boy. Um,
It's kind of sad when you have an actually promising cast. Like if you have
yes,
Rooney Mara as the role
yes,
of Nancy, That's great casting. I like that. You want to
Uh,
cast Jackie Earle Haley, fresh off of playing Rorschach, as Freddy Krueger. Yes. Yes. But here's the fucking problem.
the
This movie,
makeup.
literally, it tries so damn hard to literally be the original, while also throwing in the super, super gross subplot about how, Freddy Krueger didn't just kill kids, he molested them.
Yeah, and that's just wrong. Because
Mm.
I honestly, when they introduced the original non-burned Fred Krueger as like the guy who likes to just play with kids, I was like, oh, please let it just be a nice guy who has an affection for kids, but not in a wrong way.
And they
And then
went
they
there.
went the wrong way, and is fuck, they went there. And that there was also like Jackie Earle Haley. I'm sure you can act, but this movie didn't do you any favors. I hated the makeup. I hated the writing of the character. I hated about everything of him. And that's probably not because of the acting. Also, a movie that makes Rooney Mara look bland. Fuck you. Because Rooney Mara, like, she's in one of my favorite movies of all time, in The Social Network, as Erica Albright, and I fucking adore her in that. So I'm like, ah. And she was really good in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and like, she wasn't even up for an Oscar for that movie. She has been up for Oscars. She is an actress that can, you know, put in a really great performance and be up for Oscars, but. Uh, Now, to be fair, I don't think this is the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but that's more because, the rest is worse. That's not saying that this one is any good.
No.
Blech.
You know, they say the brain still functions for about 7 minutes after you die. So that gives us about 7 more minutes to play. All
Six.
right.
Six.
All right. 6. You're right. Whatever.
You,
Whatever.
you suck. You suck for that quote, and you suck for fucking it up.
But the movie sucks. Why do you care?
Why did you say it then?
Just to irk you. Love you, Kees. Love you. All right. So, well, so
Speaking of people who we love, Nico, we love you. You're in Orlando. I hate you for being there because I wish I was there.
yeah. Here, Nico. Why don't you really do us a sob story and pick up a guitar, and start playing "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd. That would really piss me off. So, all right. But so going back to Keanu for a moment, as we start to dive into some movie news about stuff going on. We have differing opinions on The Matrix.
We do, unfortunately.
And
you are wrong in this case.
I'll just embrace it. And look, it's not that I don't appreciate it. It's not that I don't respect it. I just don't like it. So, fair enough. What are you going to do? But Case, you and I can both agree we don't want a fourth one, right?
There is no fourth one.
Well,
there is no third. There is no second one. There is only the one.
Well, okay. Then give me the 2 for the Animatrix. But
yeah, Animatrix, I'll agree with you.
But here's what I want to know. Why are actors who are way better than the material given wanting to join this crap, lousy idea? Neil Patrick Harris set to join the cast. Exactly. We've got to have money. So that's why Barney Stinson is joining the cast of The Matrix 4. Why?
I don't know. I do not know. I legit do not know. Um, did you see him in Gone Girl?
I did.
It is a great movie. He did not fit in that movie.
No.
Why was he in that movie? I don't know.
I was probably friends with the cast.
Maybe. Look, um, Neil Patrick Harris is great as Barney Stinson. I have not seen him in anything good besides How I Met Your Mother.
Starship
And I've
Troopers.
seen Gone Girl. Huh?
Starship Troopers.
He was creepy as all fuck in that movie.
Oh, I love him, man.
I don't. Then again, I don't love Starship Troopers. Send me your tweets. But yeah, did you see Gone Girl? He was not very good in that movie. In an overall great movie, he was not particularly good in that movie. And why are we casting him for The Matrix? Oh, because we got to have money, right?
Cha-ching.
Yeah, no, no.
And that's kind of my thoughts as well. It's like, look, now, Neil, I actually love your career. Like, I occasionally, if I see Doogie Howser on TV, I'll watch a little bit of it because I liked him in it. I think
What
he's.
about the Smurfs? What about the Smurfs?
Oh, no.
I knew it. I knew it.
No, bad case, bad. I was gonna say I loved you in the Harold and Kumar trilogy because my God, are you great at playing yourself? You know, and of course, How I Met Your Mother. I love the character Barney Stinson, but dude, what could you possibly contribute to the Matrix? Like, is your agent that desperate to give you a job that they think you'd be good for the Matrix?
Wait a sec. Okay, keep talking.
I will keep talking. I will keep talking. Wild Case gets his whatever he's getting, and look, I'm just trying to understand why a Matrix 4 has to happen in the first place. So, because the thing is, we've never actually gotten the confirmation. Like, is this a prequel? Is this a sequel? Is this a spinoff? Is this a reboot? What the hell is the Matrix 4? But, Case, you appear to be coming back. Oh boy. Yes. Yes. He's got the shades.
Mr. Anderson, challenge accepted. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that shit?
I can now, and I kind of want to see it.
That's okay.
Mr. Anderson.
That's what he has to contribute, I guess.
Apparently.
There you go. That's what he does to the Matrix. That's all I got.
Yep. Can't imagine there's anything else that's good going that movie's way.
No.
Well, speaking of bad ideas involving people named Barney, Case, a little while before we started rolling, you were kind of confused as to what to do with your neck when you saw that actor Daniel Kaluuya, who starred in 2 of Best Picture winners of the last 2 years, Black Panther and Get Out, respectively.
Well, not winners.
Well, nominees. My mistake.
Oh, and don't forget Sicario.
Oh, yeah, and Sicario, yes. Apparently, he is looking to be part of a Barney the Dinosaur live-action movie. What?
What? What?
Like, how do you how do you make this? Why do you make this?
Do you make this?
Why is Gamora? I mean, like,
it's confusing beyond belief. I don't get it.
I mean, I'm looking at the story. I'm looking at, this, and I don't get it. Okay, so last year we had the great documentary of "Won't You Be My Neighbor." This year we're getting the Fred Rogers biopic starring Tom Hanks. But how do you? No. How? No.
I was honestly trying to wrap my head around it, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna. This is not gonna happen. This is not a thing. This is not canon in anything. I don't get it.
I'm turning into Mark Wahlberg from The Happening. What? No.
Yeah. Daniel Kaluuya, you've been in movies. You've gotten a Best Actor nom. What the fuck are you doing?
Use your power to do something better. Here, if you want to, here, let's say Daniel Kaluuya wanted to make a movie that was meant to essentially, tell a great message for children. Dude, that's awesome, because you know what? We need more good kids films. Straight up. Because for every, for every Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, we get 20 Peter Rabbits, and they're all pretty insulting. So, by all means, use your power that you have in Hollywood to make good children's films. But don't fucking waste your talent on fucking Barney the fucking dinosaur. Jesus, buddy.
No.
Barney was a joke in Jurassic Park 3, for God's sake.
Yeah. He was. I remember that joke. I don't want to remember that joke, but I remember it all right.
It's like... You know what, K-Wolf? I agree with you. We just need to start building our own Millennium Falcon and get off this rock. We'll pick up Case. We'll pick up Nico. We'll pick up some of the call to action people, I guess. They're decent enough. Except James. Fuck you, James. And we'll just get out of here. But, and you know what? Okay, Brian Newsbaum, I see you're in the chat. Always happy to see you, brother. Now, the Sesame Street movie, that's a completely different thing. Because Sesame Street knows how to be a little bit self-aware. They know how to have humor about what they're trying to do. So I can imagine the movie that they're going to do is kind of like the Muppets movie from 2011. And that is a Sesame Street movie I want to see. But what the fuck can you do with Barney? Okay, you know what? No, I'm done. Moving on.
Just no.
Next story. Next story to something that is also baffling my head. That's going to be the next couple of stories here that are just totally baffling my head. So, Case, you know how last week we were talking about how the government of China is pissed at Matt and Trey?
Mm-hmm.
They're pissed
they still are, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And now they're pissed at someone else. Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, what else is new?
I know, right? And this is just something that just is baffling to me, that the government of China is so set on demanding that if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is going to be released over in China, it has to be recut. And Quentin, I'd say wisely in this case, won't do that. But it also does make me wonder, though, he's missing out on some possible good box office.
Have you seen how Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is doing at the box office?
Yeah.
It's doing pretty well for his type of movies. It's doing better than Inglourious Basterds, that's one of his more successful films. So honestly, Quentin can do the exact same as Matt and Trey and say, "Fuck you, China. We don't give a shit. And let me just, release my actual movie, or you can fuck off." Because honestly, yeah, I know that China is this major fucking influence, but get over your high horse.
Yeah, fair enough. And yes, to anybody in China who now has to illegally download the show, I guess I apologize. Maybe I don't.
I don't. I definitely don't. Fuck you, Chinese government. It has been said.
Fair enough. But that's not even, to me, the strangest piece of news I've come across this week. Because I've got to talk about this. I have to get this off my chest. Because, like, this can't be real. I mean, of course, it can be real. It is real. But
it's real.
One of the most horrifying human beings in the history of mankind, turns out, actually was quite the cinephile.
Did you see Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah. But to be fair, Quentin kind of portrayed it as him just doing it to sort of show support for Goebbels and show support for the troops, to show support for Daniel Bruhl's character. God damn it.
Frederick Zeller.
Zeller. There we go. And
but on the other hand, it is shown throughout the movie that, yes, Hitler was actually a cinefanatic.
Yeah.
A cinephile.
And it's so, like, it's so weird. Because, you know, and there's been many reports about how he adored King Kong, how he adored The Lives of a Bengal Lancer. The fact, you know, and the fact that, get this case, so you've at least heard of the director Fritz Lang, right?
No,
okay.
I have not.
One of the most influential directors of the silent era. He directed films like Metropolis. And Hitler even asked him to come aboard his regime as basically the overseer of all of German cinema. But here's a fun fact for you. Fritz Lang was half Jewish. So he wouldn't have had a career for very long. And, you know, again, doubly ironic considering that Hitler himself, half Jewish, but we don't like to talk about that part, apparently.
I mean, he only had one testicle, but who cares about that?
I suppose, you know. And now there's been some stories popping up about how, in, I believe it was an interview I came across. Oh, God damn it. Where is the top of the thing?
You suck.
Yeah, I know. With a couple of historians who have files on some of the people who worked closely with Darrell, Uncle Addy. Apparently,
Addy.
Right. Apparently, he not only had several hand-drawn frames from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is terrifying to think about. He also famously, right before the invasion of Poland, hosted a private screening with Gone with the Wind, and he claimed that to be the greatest film he ever saw.
There are actually more people in this world who claim that. Suddenly I have questions about those people. I get.
Well, it's kind of funny because I was talking to my mom about this earlier, and she actually said, "Huh, I think I see what his appeal to that movie was."
Drink. In the category of yikes. Oh, Lord. Suddenly, I'm very happy that I've never seen that movie, and now I'm terrified to see that movie.
I mean, I'm going to rewatch it, obviously, because I do think it is a tentpole of cinema. Like, I think it really did, like, here's the thing. Without that film, without The Many Adventures of Robin Hood, and without The Wizard of Oz, we don't get color in film for another 20 years.
No, I get that. It was one of the first color films.
But it's so weird to think about, though. You know,
Yeah, like it is. It truly makes you wonder, what if he had lived on
And what if
and
he was,
had,
or what if he wasn't a monster?
well, that first of all, but what if he had done whatever he had done, but had lived on and had given his opinion on film? Would it like, because nowadays,
Come on,
if like a big
come on.
person has an opinion on a movie, um, everyone thinks, oh, you're wrong. Like nowadays, we have Trump saying stuff like, Meryl Streep, the incredibly overrated Meryl Streep, which of course a lot of people love, or do they? And suddenly it becomes a person of controversy because suddenly people need to decide, do you actually love her or not? And that's like, what if Hitler had done that back in the day, had that influential opinion where people would, okay, not like this, because now that back then we didn't have Twitter or Facebook or social media, but what if people had seen, oh, he loves Gone with the Wind? Suddenly people would hate or love that movie because of Hitler loving that movie. Some it's a very very weird thing to think about,
Case, that was incredibly insightful of you.
right? Thank you.
but
Thank
but
you.
yeah, like that's the thing that totally terrifies me. But it's also super intriguing. Like, or
Yes.
or shit. What if hell? What if Saddam Hussein was a little more active about some of the imported media that he liked? Which yes, I know,
South Park,
South
bigger,
Park.
longer than I
I
cut.
know, I
Yes.
know. For better or for worse, I'm trying to think of the actual person, but because
I know,
I mean, because
but
great.
it's difficult to differentiate.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult. Because of course, I just want to picture, super high voice Saddam Hussein being like, "Ooh, I love Deep Throat," but you know, but
Satan, your ass is gigantic and red. Who are you gonna pretend you are? Liza Minnelli?
but simultaneously, this is just one of those concepts like I can't help but now think about, you know.
My
Oh
God,
God. Oh,
can you imagine Hitler singing "I Can Change"? I'm sorry.
Jojo
Oh,
Rabbit 2, the musical, coming 2021,
I'm
directed by
sorry.
Taika Waititi.
Oh God. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. I can change. I can change. Oh no. Okay, I should never have said. That.
Oh, woo. No, we needed that. We needed that laugh. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Oh my god.
Oh God.
All right.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. So to close out this last story, I I'm trying not to think of it too much as a mind fuck, but just more just like a what other opinions are out there that hopefully somehow through the sands of time we can discover them. Because you know what? As scary as that is, that's kind of cool, actually. Like not cool in like the cool way, but cool in a retrospective sort of way. But
yeah.
yes,
Yeah. No. Or at least it's interesting.
yes, absolutely. Which that's not how I feel about this next story that I want to get into because ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn and grab your drinks because it's red time. And grab your shades. So, Case, we like Disney.
Yes.
We bow down to our mousy overlords.
Yes.
And, we just have to accept the fact that there are...
I am forced. What?
Yes. But, and we've come to accept that, these live-action remakes are going to be a thing for a while, right? Because, of course, we've got to have money.
We actually might have something to say about that next week on our live show.
Yeah, we just might. We just might, so stay tuned.
Uh-huh.
And it's been a little bit of hit and miss. Some of them have been okay, some of them not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But one that I'm not looking forward to, because it will happen, is Pinocchio.
Okay, to be fair, all of them will happen.
Well, yeah, of course. But the one I'm gonna dread the most, probably, is Pinocchio. I grew up with that movie. I love it. I genuinely think it's still a great film, and the animation still looks just as good 80 years later. But there's some talks, there's some rumors going around about who the director of said Pinocchio live-action remake is. Robert fucking Zemeckis.
I'm about halfway there in terms of shades.
So
you are full on there, I know.
So does this mean that, Zemeckis is gonna, do a reverse Back to the Future where he's gonna have Pinocchio fall in love with his dad, but we're gonna be like, oh, but it's fun. Can't you enjoy the fun, Chris? Or, oh, aren't we gonna, make this all, fucking Castaway where he's, Jiminy Cricket's just gonna be like this little wooden figurine that he just talks to, but, Jiminy Cricket's not gonna run around and teach him life lessons and teach him how to be a good person. No. Pinocchio's gonna be smart and figure that all on his own.
No. Pinocchio's not gonna be smart. He's gonna have 75 IQ points.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah, exactly. And then he's gonna, go run around with his best friend who's gonna ditch him 5 times throughout the movie. Then at the end, she'll come back to him, but she'll just die 2 minutes later because, of course, she fucking will. Okay. So yes, guys, in case you can't tell, I don't like Robert Zemeckis as a filmmaker.
Don't you?
No.
Don't you?
Not in the slightest, actually. Literally, the dude's directed one film that I genuinely love.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
And it's one of the great films of the 80s.
Yeah, but what's your take on Back to the Future again?
Video essay coming soon.
What is your take on Forrest Gump?
Video essay coming soon.
What is your take on Castaway?
Fuck that movie.
Huh. Okay, to be fair, I don't necessarily agree with you on those movies because I do love Forrest Gump. I might not think it's the best movie of 1994, but that's mostly because 1994 was one of the greatest movie years in cinema.
Yes.
But I do still love Forrest Gump. But I do have to say, what to this story? Pinocchio? Zemeckis? What? Seriously?
I mean, what the hell could he possibly contribute? And let's take a look at the last time Zemeckis did a film for Disney. He did 2009's A Christmas Carol starring Jim Carrey, where it was pretty much all in the motion capture stuff that Zemeckis has really been going towards these days. Ever since Polar Express.
I did not like that movie.
Well, and that's because and I'm with you. 3 reasons why. 1, Jim Carrey just wasn't the right pick for Ebenezer Scrooge.
He was past his prime, and Ebenezer Scrooge is like the most stuck-up, angry person you can imagine, and then you get Jim Carrey for that role? Are you fucking kidding me? No.
2, the technology, while granted impressive, not there yet.
Nope.
3, it was too fucking dark. You know that scene when the dude falls on the floor and then next thing the camera pans over and his face is all a skeleton? Yeah, that was weird.
I didn't see any of that.
It was weird. And it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
Did you see that? Let us know in the comments if you saw that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, guys, honestly, like... And I don't know. Am I just talking out my ass because I feel Zemeckis is 30 years past when anyone actually gave a shit about him? But, you know, it's gonna be one of those things where I hope to God it's just a rumor. It's just talks. Because nobody wants this. Nobody should deserve this.
Look, the only director in Hollywood right now that I would think could make a legit good whatever kind of Disney remake, is there one? Maybe Denis Villeneuve, but probably not. Maybe David Fincher, but probably not.
Actually, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but you know who could pull off a live-action Pinocchio? Edgar Wright.
Yeah, okay, because Edgar Wright can at least have fun with his films.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of Hollywood directors can't.
Yes, and the thing is, especially with a story like Pinocchio, you need to have a constant sense of movement, a constant sense of what's going on. Like, your eye has to constantly be following something. And Edgar Wright is great at doing that, even in films that I don't care for, like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
I can just imagine the whale scene while Bell Bottoms is playing.
Oh my God, yes.
Bell Bottoms, no! Pinocchio holding on, no! Bell Bottoms!
Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Yep, let's do it. Let's just do it.
God. I adore Baby Driver. If anyone couldn't tell, I own the Blu-ray.
I mean, it is a great movie, so...
Yes, it is.
Arguably the best edited movie of the decade.
Edited, yes.
So... I had to get that off my chest, so thank you all for putting up with my bullshit. But now... we've done it enough, I suppose. But okay, so... To close out the news, I kind of just wanted to put all the news surrounding a certain Matt Reeves film coming in 2021 just kind of all in one go, because we got 3, I'd say, fairly decent-sized stories. Starting with the newest piece. Kees, you're going to love this. Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman film will be scored by Michael Giacchino. We like that. And now we come to... Or do you want to do the 3 separately, or do you want to just tackle them all at one go?
3 separately?
Like, talk about just Giacchino now, and then talk about the other 2 things once we're done with Giacchino?
Let's just go with Giacchino for now.
Okay. So, yeah. Giacchino is now playing for The Other Side in DC. About time.
Okay. I'll say this about Michael Giacchino. He was nowhere to be found when he scored the movies for Pixar. Then he won an Oscar for Up, even though his Star Trek score was better. Because have you heard his Star Trek score? Oh my fucking God, it is fucking amazing. I adore that score. It might be even better than the original Star Trek score by Jerry Goldsmith, and I don't think I would ever say that. Because seriously, Jerry Goldsmith's score for Star Trek is fucking phenomenal, but Michael Giacchino might be better. That being said, since he did Star Trek, he's probably the most overrated composer of the entire decade. He has done fucking everything, and was he that good? Probably not. His Doctor Strange score was fine. His Spider-Man score was fine. But it was Michael fucking Giacchino, and yeah, we get it. He was good when he did Star Trek and when he did the Pixar films. Okay, Rogue One was a good movie with a subpar score. And yeah, his Spider-Man score is meh. And a couple of his scores are meh. And oh, by the way, I do want to say Inside Out was fucking amazing. That was probably his last best score. So Michael Giacchino now being attached to a movie, sure. It's kind of gotten to a point where he's a little overrated. Even though, look, he has made some great scores, but I don't think he can do it anymore.
And okay, I actually hear you on that. I don't know if I fully agree, but because I don't think the term is overrated. I think the term that you and I are looking for is overexposed.
Maybe.
Especially once he got on to Jurassic World and really got eyes noticed on him. Because the dude's been working non-freaking stop.
True. Yeah, yes.
So but to be fair, I haven't really heard much else about what he's got coming up in the future. So if, hopefully, he can start slowing down just a little bit as we go into the 2020s. And again, I'm not telling the dude, hey, go away or anything. But I just want him to ease up a little bit, take a little bit more time with each score that he's going to be doing, just so that way that way they feel a little bit more special. Because, let's also keep in mind, the last Batman film we got, the score was done by Hans Zimmer, and I'm sorry, it's not good.
Okay, I would say that the score for BVS was actually decent. And Junkie XL did a pretty good job. Hans Zimmer, on the other hand, where was he during that movie? I don't know. Because all the themes that I did like about BVS were not Hans Zimmer, unfortunately.
That's fair. But yeah, it's
just... And if you want to talk about the true Batman film, The Dark Knight Rises, I don't remember anything of that movie. I've seen that movie fucking 3 times. I don't remember anything.
Yeah. But that said, as you mentioned, Giacchino, he's been overworked a little bit.
Yeah, but he still makes good scores.
He does, and you know what? I actually quite liked his score from Jurassic World. I've liked his scores for the Star Trek films. I like.
Oh hell yeah!
And of course, Inside Out especially. Oh.
Yes, yes. That's the thing. Like Inside Out, that movie is not just amazing because of the story. Also, that score works perfectly with it.
Yes. So, and that's kind of like my final point is that if, and I'm gonna pray to God this is the case, if Giacchino can slow down just for a little bit to focus more on each individual score that's coming his way, that way he can make them a little bit more memorable and give us a Batman theme that could be even better than The Dark Knight.
Yeah, because I think that Giacchino got a little bit too much like Hans Zimmer, where everyone was like, "Oh, Hans Zimmer, we love you. Score my movie." And Hans Zimmer is like, "Sure, and sure, and sure." And he does 10 movies a year, and you don't remember a single one, maybe one, though. That's kind of the issue. And, like, I love Hans Zimmer. I love The Lion King. I love The Dark Knight. And I love those movies also because of its score. But Hans Zimmer got to that point where he was overexposed. And I do think Michael Giacchino is getting to that point where he's overexposed because he is forced to do those Spider-Man movies because of Doctor Strange, because of the Pixar movies, because of Star Wars, and because of Disney. And it's like he's doing so much. Like, give him a fucking minute to make a fucking score. Because that's one issue. Like, I do love certain themes in Rogue One, not necessarily either the way they're used or the theme itself, because he was forced to do that in a few weeks.
3
Like,
weeks.
no one can make a great score in 3 weeks. Are you kidding me?
No.
So I just hope he has learned from that and knows, okay, I need to take a couple of months to compose a good score, and hopefully he can get another Oscar, because he only has one, and I do think he deserves at least another one. Actually, like Hans Zimmer,
Yeah.
who also just has one and deserves probably another one.
Yes. And I agree with that statement as well. So, which makes me scared to know where we're going to land on this next one. Because I get the feeling that Matt Reeves found the perfect Catwoman, a.k.a. Zoe Kravitz. Case, what are your thoughts?
Yes, actually, yes. This is like the one good thing about this movie, probably for me. The crazy thing is, months ago, I had a conversation with my girlfriend, Irina, about potential casting decisions for the next couple of DC/DCU movies.
Mhm.
And she honestly told me that Poison Ivy, Emma Stone, and Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz. She told me that, and honestly, I'm like, yeah, no, that works. And I forgot about the fact that she had told me that until I told her, hey, did you see that Zoe Kravitz is now playing Catwoman? And she was like, oh my God, I predicted this. And I was like, did you? And I was thinking back, and I'm like, oh yeah, you did predict this. Oh wow. Um, yeah. Zoe Kravitz. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Zoe Kravitz because I've only really seen her in X-Men, First Class, and Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald, and I wasn't a big fan of Crimes of Grindelwald, but I am a big fan of First Class. So I'm like hit and miss in that regard. I don't
You've,
know.
and to be fair, you have seen her in other films. You're just not aware of it.
Yeah, I've not really noticed her because, in all honesty, does she act, or is she just a pretty looking girl? That's kind of the thing that, like, to me, she's more a pretty looking girl in most of the movies, where I'm like, okay, sure, whatever.
Well, that's fair. Although, again, I'm
Uh,
surprised. I'm surprised you don't remember her voice from the last time she played Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie.
I do. Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
Shit. Okay, no, I do know that she was in the Lego Batman movie. You just need to remind me. But the point is that I do think she would make for a good Catwoman.
Yes.
Uh, Despite the fact that she is very pretty, of course, I do think she could make for a pretty badass Catwoman. Because I might not be the biggest fan of Batman Returns, like not at all, but I do think Michelle Pfeiffer was a pretty good Catwoman,
Hell yeah.
and and that's where it ends. Actually, I just realized that. Okay, never mind.
Fair enough.
Michelle Pfeiffer was a pretty good bad Catwoman, and I think that Zoe Kravitz could not copy that, but do something.
Bring her own flavor to the table.
Yeah, do something similar and bring her own flavor.
And
Because fuck Halle Berry, and definitely fuck Anne Hathaway, because I despise Anne Hathaway.
but fair enough. To sort of close out this particular segment, I'll just say I think she can carry it as an actress because the little pieces of her I've seen on Big Little Lies, she knows how to really sell the dramatic moments. Uh, she knows how to be a badass because, dear God, she was awesome in Mad Max Fury Road as one of the wives who got to get some really cool kills in.
Wait,
Um,
she was in Mad Max Fury Road?
Yeah, she was one of the Immortan Joe's wives. Yeah. And I think she could also sell sort of the tender moments of Selena Kyle because, honestly, I quite liked her as Mary Jane in Spider-Verse. So,
Yes.
So yeah, I'm actually on board with this one. I'm glad we're on the same page because
it's just bread.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I can give you the bread you deserve.
Oh my God!
Just
Yes.
bread.
Okay. And yeah, this is where I'm afraid you're gonna yell at me, because we also have the Riddler cast for the Batman.
Ah! I was yelling.
Paul Dano.
Huh? That is so weird. That's mostly because Paul Dano is the weirdest guy in Hollywood, in my opinion, right now. He has been in so many fucking weird roles that I'm like, he is great in Swiss Army Man. He is great in Prisoners, but for all the wrong reasons. Because the character that he plays in those movies are fucking insane, and that's why I'm like, So him as the Riddler, I don't know.
Okay, then I guess once again we're on a similar page then, because I don't like it. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Paul Dano as an actor because, as you've already mentioned, Swiss Army Man, Prisoners, he's great. Love and Mercy, one of my favorite movies of the decade.
There will be blood.
Hell, yes. Oh my God. Like I can't name that many movies I haven't liked him in. But I'm just scared that, unlike Jim Carrey, who was over the top for obvious comedic reasons.
Look, you need to realize that Jim Carrey's Riddler was completely tailor-made for Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Personally. And that's why it worked for him, but maybe not the movie.
Yeah, and it literally wouldn't have worked for anyone else. But I'm just scared that that Warner Brothers is going to try to push Paul Dano to sort of go in a similar direction, and I'll just be like, please stop. I need an adult. Please stop. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. And hopefully I'm wrong, because, again, Paul Dano is an incredible actor. And I think he could certainly sell the menace of somebody like the Riddler, because, again, have y'all seen Prisoners? But I don't. But the thing is, I'm just scared that they'll ask him to go over the top, and he'll go too over the top. I don't know. But I think that ought about cover it for the news. So, guys, this is the end of the live segment of the show, and of course, as we mentioned on the Facebook group, we did. Nico and I sat down with a friend of his from a film camp he was in, hosted by John Travolta's brother of all people, where they got to meet and talk, and we talked about Star Wars and fan films, and should be a fun time. But before we go, Kees, please plug yourself if you could.
Hello there. Anyway, you can follow me at That's Movie Guy on Twitter, Kees Cornelisse on Facebook and Letterboxd, and of course, this Sunday/Monday on Viva la Resistance, reviewing Star Wars Resistance, our favorite new show, of course. And next week, I am going to do a Star Wars Rebels match against Jay Burns and Nico Rogoli. Well, you know Nico. You probably should know Jay by now. If you don't, they don't have a fucking chance. I'm just going to say that straight up. Like, seriously. because I'm obsessed with Rebels. I'm trying to. I do actually want to make the best accuracy record that they have so far in the Full Metal Trivia Full Metal random stats, because I know a lot about Rebels. I would almost say I know as much about Rebels as I know about Star Wars, and that's a pretty big strength of mine. So look out for that match, the Star Wars Rebels random match over at Full Metal Random. It's gonna be fun, and that's about all I have to say.
All right. Well, then, guys, enjoy this quick 5-minute break and enjoy the interview we had with Darrell Pullie. We'll see you guys, well, live anyway, next week.
Yeah.
Didn't quite do as much as what the question was kind of alluding to, as to what you show a non-wrestling fan to get them into the wrestling. Whereas Nico, while he didn't do much of it, I think he did enough to kind of prove his point. So I'm going to have to agree with Cody, and I'm going to have to award this point to Nico. And the celebration.
Excuse me for one moment.
Is he going to jump into a pool?
I don't know. He's going to do something.
And wait.
He's got him though. He's got him though. I can't. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
And this is why all of you haters, all of you nonsense bullcrap talkers need to just shut your goddamn mouths once and for all. All the James Spences of the world, all the call to actions of the world. Seriously, every one of you, shut up. Just shut up. John Roca was one of the best, still is one of the best, and will always be one of the best Schmoedown players of all time. So quit pretending that he isn't. Just accept the fact that he still got it. And by the end of this year, he will be your new team champion, along with Dangerous Dan Murrell.
And as for William Bibiani,
I'll say it right now. He's going to be a 2-time champ. I'm sorry. He's got more knowledge than Paul overall. He's got more knowledge than either the kid and Ben combined. He's got more gameplay experience than all three. Have any of you lost a relative or a friend to cancer?
Raising hands. I don't know if we're supposed to be raising hands. I'm clicking right now, but I'll assume.
Yeah. Yes. Fair enough. And I myself actually have lost 2 grandparents. My grandmother on my mom's side to ovarian cancer back in 2011, and I lost my grandfather on my dad's side to prostate cancer in 2015. And I'll just say this, that it freaking sucks. And it sucks when you feel so powerless that you don't even know how you're supposed to help, how you're supposed to cope. You don't know how you're supposed to, feel. Even when it's not you, even if it's just someone that you're close to, it's impossible just to wrap your head around that. And I totally forgot. I just found out that my uncle got diagnosed about a month ago with lung cancer, already in stage 4. So I guess I gotta say, Dylan, actually, thank you for inviting me on this chat to tell cancer, hey, fuck you.
Go fuck yourself.
You, you horrible fucking thing. This McLellan was only food and liquid going through the room, and not other certain things like sweat.
Oh, we have no idea what was going on in the bathrooms, do we?
I wasn't gonna go there. I wasn't.
Wouldn't it be funny if there would be someone on the toilet while Cass is messing up with the gravity, and everything in the toilet just goes up and down and up and down, and someone is in there. What is happening?
Or heck, or just show someone trying to sleep. Oh, that would be like that. That'd be great. That would be just great. But yes, no. Just the one visual gag was enough. But if this was like a 45-minute episode, then yeah, you better believe I want to see somebody in the bathroom. I want to see somebody trying to sleep. Maybe certain other things going on, if you know what I'm saying. Heyo, bow chicka wow. And welcome back to the second half of the Who Cares Anyway podcast. We hope you enjoyed the first hour of the conversation. And yeah, just like last week, I changed my shirt because we had to pre-tape this to accommodate our guest for this week. As, you know, hey, I'm more than happy to do that as long as it leads to great conversations. And I'm pretty sure today we're going to have a great conversation surrounding Star Wars, fan filmmaking, amateur filmmaking. Because, you know, someone else who was on this call who's going to be in Orlando over the weekend, lucky bastard, he invited a good friend of his to come on the show. And I was like, oh, I'm actually familiar with his work. So, yeah, what the hell? Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Darrell Pullie to the show. Dude, what is up? And thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much for having me on the show. I just came from college. We were honestly dismissed 5 minutes early because of a fire alarm we had. So she just dismissed us point blank, so I just left. But aside from college, I've been having a good day.
Nico, actually, if you could, explain to me how you two met. And maybe Darrell, once he's done, you sort of give a little bit of your insight of how you were able to put up with this knucklehead like I'm able to.
So a couple of years ago, I became enrolled in Joey Travolta's film camp as part of the Arts for Autism Foundation. It was something that we did. It's a 2-week-long camp in the summer. I did it 2 years in a row. Darrell, I believe, is still part of the camp. He can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I am.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. But yeah, basically, for the better part of 2 weeks, we were working together, making amateur films as part of that camp, and just trying to raise awareness that, you know, despite what's considered a disability of being on the spectrum, we are capable of doing average, everyday, normal tasks like broadcasting, like being behind a camera, like being in front of a camera, like working sound, like editing, like writing a script. And so, yeah, this particular camp gives us the opportunity to flex our creative muscles in ways that other programs might not have given us the chance to do. Darrell made himself stand out among the rest of the campers in that every single day he would show up dressed like Krennic from Rogue One.
Only thing is I didn't have the cape.
That's kind of the most important part, though.
Thank you.
That's actually kind of cool to hear that, you know, I'm not, you know, and here's the funny thing now. Of the 3 active members, well, actually, hell, all 3 active members of Dedicated Art are on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum, Kees is on the spectrum, Nico's on the spectrum, and now it's really awesome to hear that there is this kind of program for people like us who are on the spectrum to have another creative outlet to really get into that. And you know what? Before we get to your personal work, let me just ask you that: does being on the spectrum has that affected your writing, your directing, your filmmaking at all?
On the contrary, it really hasn't. Given that I do have autism, I feel like it makes people stronger in their own way. I don't really consider it as a disability. I consider it as a great strength.
But then let's get into why you have such a passion for filmmaking. What was it that started you down that path, and thus creating Darrell's Wonderland and so on and so forth?
All right, well, filmmaking started for me when I started paying attention to more movies. Like years ago when I was younger, I can remember when I asked my mother for like a PSP for Christmas, like years ago, with a Wheel of Fortune game. But I was young back then. I didn't know they didn't have a Wheel of Fortune game for a PSP. So I wake up one morning, I tear open one present. It was the PSP with a game called Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. So
I have that game.
So the one at the time I had no idea what Star Wars was. So I put the cartridge into the PSP. I started playing it. I started playing as part of the Republic, Separatists, Empire, Rebels, and then as months went by, my mother started to notice that I had an interest in Star Wars. So the first movie that I saw was Revenge of the Sith, and I really loved it. And she got me into the original. So like it was like a mix of what she had me first see. And then over the years, I saw other movies, other action movies from DC to Marvel, from drama movies, and then I just started getting really interested in film when I was like 14, I believe, when I first started getting into filmmaking. That's when I entered the Joey Travolta film camp. When I saw Mr. Travolta and other aspiring filmmakers and actors, that's what kind of brightened up my interest. So after my first year of camp, I made my first tiny fan film. It wasn't that much of anything. It was just something to start off of. It's an old project. It's scrapped. It's still on the bottom of my flash drive that I don't even bother to use. I watch it from time to time to look back on how things came to be now. But before film camp this year, it appears that Joey and Barry was speaking to see if me and if myself and another student named Mark Gorham to see if we can direct Barry's short film. So when film camp started this year, Mark went up to this classroom called the fourth classroom. It focuses like more in depth with filming. Well, Nigo can explain it better than I can because I'm not really in that room yet. I will be in the future though. So since Mark decided to go up to the fourth classroom, I was the only one that stayed in Barry's classroom. So before we was about to shoot the film, he offered me in another room, like, hey, I'd like you to direct this film. I really wanted to, so because I do have experience in directing, because last year I made a little Star Wars fan film. It was tiny, mixed in with reality and Star Wars, and given how I was directing a film this year, that's what got Joey and Barry thinking, because Barry has been following me on Facebook and he's been noticing what I've been doing. So yeah. So when I made decisions, I really felt at home. It was something out of my comfort zone because I'm always into Star Wars and other action stuff. So I said, hey, how about we do something like drama and like something a little bit romantic too? Because hey, why not? It's kind of something based off of what I'm used to. So yeah, and the film is called Decisions. It's like a drama and romance. You guys should definitely check it out whenever you get the opportunity. You won't be really disappointed.
Link down in the description box below.
And I have checked it out, and it is a really good film.
Yeah, and after that, I took a month-long hiatus to fix up my channel, Darrell's Wonderland, because there were some things that me and my new partner on the channel, John Kendall, that needed to go. First off, the logo. The logo used to be DW with a blue aura around it. That needed to go, but we'll keep it like in the future for like maybe merchandise in the future. We decided to get a new banner, profile photo, and we have a new intro for the channel as well. And it is better than all the other ones that we had in the past. And I will continue to upload on my weekly schedule, 2 to 3 videos a week. Basically, how I got into being more involved in movies and like filmmaking, and I was also an extra at some point twice for this TV series called Mindhunter.
Whoa.
Yes, but when season 2 came out, I was given the episode name and number. I was in the protest scene, but it's all so fast. I tried to look for myself multiple times, and you couldn't really find me. I looked on every angle. When I paused, I even looked like, hey, I can't even see myself. But the first day was terrible because it was in the sun, and I was wearing a suit. It was a suit, and I was sweating. I was sweating really hard, and we was out there going back and forth for 5 hours straight. It was terrible, but it was worth it though, because at least I could say that I was a background actor for Mindhunter. But that's basically it about how I got interested in filmmaking, which became me being into a YouTuber. Before I became a Star Wars YouTuber, I was a vlogger inspired by the YouTube channel McJuggernuggets. But when I noticed when my vlogs weren't getting that much views, I started seeing videos like, oh, what if Anakin killed Obi-Wan? I saw a bunch of theory videos, and they were from Star Wars theory. So after I paid attention to his channel, I said, why not? Let's do a Star Wars channel. So I got rid of the old username. I was thinking of usernames with my friend while we were watching Alice in Wonderland. So you can see right there, that's how I got the channel name. It's something original. It's something a little cool. It's nothing like the other YouTubers like Star Wars Theory, The Lore Master, Star Wars Reading Club, Star Wars Comics, The Stupendous Wave. Ew.
So going back to Star Wars, so you mentioned that your introduction was through Battlefront Renegade Squadron.
Yeah, that's how everything came to be.
If you could elaborate a little further on when you truly started diving into the wonderful world of Star Wars.
Okay, so as I said, I started playing that video game, Renegade Squadron. That is like one of my favorite ones, despite the weird storyline. But I kind of liked it most of the time. There were some things that I didn't understand about it, but when my mom got me to see movies, the original trilogy, and other TV shows, and the one that sparked more was when I saw the Clone Wars series from 2008, and then when I was at the library at one point, after seeing the Clone Wars, after the first few episodes, I saw like the old Clone Wars series from 2002, like the 2D version, when General Grievous looked more of a droid instead of a Kalish, because that's the only thing I didn't like about it. Like I'm just saying, like, you guys made him more like a droid than he is of a Kalish. Despite the eyes, I'm talking about the body.
They also made him, I can't believe I'm saying this, they made him too awesome.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, you put a gun in my head, I will say 2003 Clone Wars over 2008 Clone Wars every day of the week. But they still made Grievous just too awesome for a proper adaptation outside of that show.
Because once you see the movie, once you see the Revenge of the Sith and he's in there, it's just kind of a gigantic letdown of like, where is the guy who was literally wrecking shop on everybody who came into his path? Like, he's running away and hacking and coughing.
When I see the comparisons of Grievous, like during the duel on Hypora, he just comes down, strikes at Kiadi, Ayla, and Shakti, and the ever unnamed Jedi. Like, his arms are spinning around in an actual circle with blades clashing. Why couldn't this be like in the movie? Grievous gets on his hands and puts the lightsabers on his feet and starts attacking his opponent.
Here's what always bothered me was like, he could split his arms and he could hold lightsabers in his feet. Why did we never get like a 5-saber Fury? Like, why did he always just stick to 4?
You're getting inspired by Star Wars Theory and all these other great people. Tell me about what leads you to some of your interpretations of how certain events would play out in your what if videos.
Well, I mean, it depends on what someone would want. Like, if someone were to tell me to do like a video on, for example, what if Grievous successfully managed to somehow kill Obi-Wan during the duel on Utapau? That is a theory I am actually working on the channel right now. It can go like in 2 ways. So like, Grievous throws Obi-Wan towards the edge. He would pick up the Magna Staff, but before Obi-Wan would have the chance to pull that blaster towards him, Grievous wouldn't notice it and he would kick it down, and then he would finish off Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan would fall to his death, and then he would contact Lord Sidious, telling him that he managed to kill Obi-Wan. Sidious would be yet impressed and good to hear this news, but he would be annoyed at the same time because it was all part of his plan. He needed Grievous to be killed. But then he would tell Grievous to just head over to the Mustafar system and protect the Separatists later. So, meanwhile, at some point, Anakin would go to Palpatine's office. After Palpatine reveals to Anakin that he's the Sith Lord, before Anakin thinks about striking down Palpatine, Palpatine also tells him that, also, I have a reliable source that Master Kenobi was killed during Utapau by Grievous. If you want to deal with Grievous yourself, my reliable sources say that he is on the Mustafar system. So Anakin would then go to Mustafar, and he would also see the Separatist leaders there. But before he would decide the fate of the Separatist leaders, Grievous would be in his way. They would duel for a while, and when it comes down to it, Anakin would be the one to destroy Grievous. Meanwhile, Anakin would come back to Coruscant to see that the Jedi temples in flames and stuff like that. So the two ways can be Anakin would hear the news before he turned to the dark side or after he turned.
And what you could do, like the movie as is, could still play out. And Obi-Wan, like, sure, we all think, oh no, he's dead. But of course, because we saw him still fall in Revenge of the Sith. He survived that fall. So who's to say you couldn't have?
I could put that in there. I can honestly put that in there now that I think about that scene. Instead of saying what if Grievous killed Obi-Wan, we can just say like what if
Grievous
defeated?
Killed?
Yeah, or defeated. Like if you put defeated up, like that doesn't mean supposedly killed or anything.
It could work.
That's the wonder about theories these days.
Well, and you know what? Okay. And speaking of theories, we can all agree that unfortunately, films like The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, and presumably Rise of Skywalker have been kind of hurt by over speculation, over theorizing. How do you as a Star Wars fan make sure that you still speculate responsibly versus letting all of how you picture the movies playing in your head dictate how it should be?
Well, I don't over speculate like that. Like I speculate every once in a while. Like in one of my videos, like for example, I would just say maybe how Kylo Ren could be a double agent and how Obi-Wan how he can return for a while in the Rise of Skywalker. The one person that I know on YouTube that over theorizes crap and tries to make up leaks is a YouTuber named Mike Zero. I do work closely with a small Star Wars YouTuber by the name of Star Wars Rumors. He's a really nice guy, and he is now doing a series based on Mike Zero's supposed leaks for the trailer.
Oh, jeez.
Like I don't really know where this comes from. So like even some of his leaks in the past regarding The Last Jedi, he said all this stuff saying, oh, it's been leaked that we're going to see Ahsoka Tano for The Last Jedi. I watched The Last Jedi, no sign of Ahsoka, and when I saw that video again from Mike Zero, this video has been removed by the user. And even by another leak from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, it was said that Luke was going to pull a Star Killer and rip a Star Destroyer from the sky. That didn't happen in The Force Awakens, so he tried to do the same thing for The Last Jedi. That didn't happen there. Both videos down. I don't get where this dude comes from. And I'll be honest, I really thought I kind of felt bad for him when I heard that Rian Johnson called him out. Now
I hate to say it, but there comes a time when I think users like YouTubers who use their platform to be that in depth in terms of their speculation, at a certain point they're just doing clickbait.
Yeah, I stray away from that. Like I can't even do that. Like when I do my videos, I do research on sources, of course, and if I can't find enough evidence, like I can't make it into something that it's not. So that's going against my code because I can't clickbait. I just refuse to.
And
sure.
Somehow.
Sorry. Please.
And despite not going the clickbait route, you've somehow managed to get 5,000 subscribers and counting. When did you notice that big boost in subscriptions for your channel? And what do you think was the primary cause of it?
Well, when I first started YouTube in general, my first video, it was an old edit of Anakin going into the temple with the 501st, and there was a scene in the deleted scene where he killed Shakti. It was a small edit. I really didn't think anyone was going to watch a simple edit. When I made the video, I put it on there, and then I just like let it be. Like a few months after I checked back on it, I have like a couple thousand views on it and about like 300 I think I get like 300 subscriptions on it. So a couple months after that, I started making explained videos, and I made like a couple music videos of Rey and Kylo Ren and Bruce and Selena from the Gotham TV series. And then before I got really serious into the Star Wars videos, I edited clips of this Uber driver telling this woman to get out of his car. This was a parody that was really funny, and there's an actual video of it when this Uber driver is arguing with this woman to get out of his car. They were at this hospital. She was trying to get to another entrance, but he was screaming, he was ranting and raving. Yeah, so when that started to go, I started uploading the short films from the Joey Travolta film camp. Joey Travolta lets me do it as long as I accompany his as long as I give his company credit, and I also give Evolve Coaching credit too because they're backing this too. And and my first Star Wars video was a theory on Five's revealing Order 66. Like, what if he actually did from Star Wars Season 6 in the lost episodes? It was with a crappy mic. I hated my mic back then. It was just one of those rectangular mics. I would have to take every take and just stop it, take a couple breaths, and just do another take.
Now, of course, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you very much. I do my best.
But don't bury the lead here. There's one detail that I've been holding on to for about 3 minutes now, and yes, we are going to get into this. Raylo, where do you stand?
Oh dear Lord.
Oh. Why?
I would like to know. You've made a video about it.
If those two were really related, I'm pretty sure Kylo would have noticed something literally in The Force Awakens.
Oh dear.
Like, if they were really related, like Ben would have noticed something.
That is not the angle I'm going for, sir.
But in a way, I would see them together as long as they're not related. But I don't think they are because I'm pretty sure Leia would have noticed something. Han would have. If she is the daughter of Han, you know what?
These aren't the relations we were referring to.
God, it's turning into fucking Romeo and Juliet. I love it.
So as far as the ship Raylo goes, I think I can support that. I definitely can. I just hope nothing contradicts that in The Rise of Skywalker.
Now, I have a very odd particular version of Raylo that I would like to see. And yes, this is my possibly unhealthy speculation that sure, when it very likely doesn't happen, am I going to be disappointed? No. Not at all. And the only reason I have a speculation in the first place is because there will be an episode 10, 11, 12. And let's face facts, somehow the Skywalkers will be attached to it. Because Disney knows that those are the movies that make money. So far, the spin-offs haven't been doing it. You know.
Yeah, but we're going to see how this next trilogy goes, because given that this is the last we'll see of the Skywalker saga, there's going to be a whole nother trilogy, and according to whispers, this is going to be on like the Old Republic.
So we've been told, not confirmed.
Yeah, it's not confirmed, and if it does,
it's not confirmed yet.
If it is in that era, in my opinion, there's only two directions they can go. They can go the creation of the Jedi and the Sith, or they can go the Mandalorian Wars. Literally,
that's what I would definitely like to see.
Because I'm sorry, I'll look. Our dear friend Kevin Smets, who made his Star Wars KOTOR trilogy. Listen, we love you, dude. You're the best showdown player in geekdom, period. But your movies are good, but they're too short. You don't get enough time with the characters. if you want to do Knights of the Old Republic.
That is Chris's self-promotion for the Old Republic series he really wants to make.
Yeah, I'm selfish. Because my thing has always been, I think Kylo and Rey will hook up one time. Because what has to happen just one time, in order to have, let's say, the next generation of Jedi, or the next generation of Skywalkers, and possibly have that child grow up knowing their father was a horrible human being, and then spend their entire life fixing the mistakes caused by the Empire in the First Order and really actually restoring balance of the galaxy. That's kind of been my selfish thing. And who knows? Maybe that will happen. Maybe it won't. I don't think Disney has that kind of foresight. Fair enough. But for some reason, it's always that ship that seems to be the most controversial. It's not Rey and Poe, because that would make sense. They're both pilots. They're both kind of hot shots at what they do. Hell, people still say that Poe and Finn should be a thing because, hey, they look good together. I'm sorry.
And they joke about it all the time.
Yeah,
exactly.
In press stuff, because they're like, yeah, we can see this happening. It's kind of like Callus and Zeb from Rebels, like how Steve Bloom would constantly joke about their potential relationship.
I still want it.
There was two ships that kind of they didn't freak me out, but it piqued somewhat of an interest, and then I was a little bit shocked to hear this. One of the people reached out to me on Instagram and with an email. They were saying, like, what are your thoughts on Phasma?
Whoa.
Finn and Phasma?
Yes.
That's a dysfunctional relationship.
That's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I told her. I replied back saying, hello, buddy. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to reply to this email sooner, but as far as Phasma goes, I believe that will be an abusive relationship in a great many reasons why. Given that Phasma hates Finn for how he deserted the First Order, and it would definitely be a lot to regain Phasma's trust again. And he provided me with another ship a day later. He said, "What do I think about?" Okay, get ready for this. Snogatine.
That sounds like Ovaltine's reject brother.
Well, I mean,
so when I saw the email, I laughed so hard, and I just said, and he sent me a photo of art. It was it wasn't from him, but it was from someone else who made it. I shared it on my Instagram like a while back. It was Palpatine and Snoke embracing each other and kissing. I was like, what the hell?
So many wrinkles.
I just said, what the hell is going on with my life?
Chris needs to go wash his eyes out now because his brain is destroyed with that mental image.
Yes, it is.
So I was really disturbed. So I just told him, hello. Honestly, that ship is really disturbing. I will admit that I said, dude, you cursed me with seeing that image, but it's okay. I saw worse.
That's a ship that gets lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes, it
if
is.
I share such a thing on the Star Wars fans Facebook page, I am bound to get banned.
Plus, I'm one of those people who is partially convinced that at one time Snoke and Palpatine were the same person. So, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Snoke and Palpatine.
Yeah, I that Snoke could have possibly been like the most successful attempt at a clone of Palpatine.
Well, there was a lot of theories regarding that. Yeah, could Snoke have been Palpatine this whole time? That is a good question. At the same time, at the same time, it could be just Disney giving us just a new villain. That's what some of the people that I know say. Others think it's Plagueis, but I kind of spoke with them and debunked the entire theory of Snoke being Plagueis.
And in a sense, you can kind of blame comic book movies for this because we're always expecting a twist of like, this person is actually that person or that person, and yada yada yada. And Star Wars has never really been that. Like, with the exception of the Darth Vader "I'm your father" reveal, like we've never really tried to do the Star Wars itself has never really tried to do those kinds of twists before. Of like, look under the mask, Scooby Doo reveal, it's this person who you didn't think it would be.
This fan was asking Daisy Ridley about something about Snoke, and then she said, "Oh, you mean Darth?" Before she even finished it, J.J. Abrams cut her off abruptly, and I was like, "What are you not telling us?"
No, that's her basically trolling everyone.
Yeah, that is pure trolling, and it's great.
If it was trolling, I don't even know why JJ would cut her off then.
Just to mess with them. Like, JJ is the keeper of the black box. He's secretive to a fault. Quick tangent here. The amount of information he has just dropped is why I have not introduced the movie Trivia Schmodown to anyone from the Joey Travolta film camp. Because I don't want them showing me up and making it even harder for me to get into the main roster one day. Because they know their shit.
See, but Nico, you could use that as inspiration to get better. You could use that. You could use them as examples to better yourselves. Better yourself, bro. Darrell, as we start to wind this down, I noticed that during our conversation, we haven't really talked much about your Star Wars fan film that you actually made last year called The Choice, which, funny enough, I just stumbled across it randomly because about once a year or so, I've been watching Star Wars fan films since roughly 2002. I think I've seen enough Star Wars fan films to call myself a little bit of a connoisseur. So, talk to me a little bit about the process of everything it took to actually get that film made.
Well, back in my junior year, the choice was made with my friend Logan Simmons because every time when we wasn't really doing anything in class, me and him would be writing the script. We didn't really have a serious timeline, so this is like a just for fun thing to do. So we mixed a little bit of Star Wars and we put some real life in, and we just crumbled it up into a ball. We put some stuff in it. We really didn't use real names from Star Wars or anything. It was just something to do. So when the time came to shoot this film, he wasn't able to make it because he lives all the way on the other side of Pennsylvania. So I just decided to, hey, I think I could do this on my own. And also, one of the actresses was a assistant director too for the scenes that she wasn't in. So it was just something for me to do. I really didn't take like a full-on Star Wars storyline seriously. So I just combined both like reality and Star Wars to make it into something good. And we were planning to make a second one, but given how one of the actresses, Miriam, she moved back to her hometown in hometown of Germany because she was a student in CCSC South. And when I was down there recently for auditions, I see that she made a couple of good films, and I am looking forward to seeing one later on because she is a very good lady.
By the way, it should also be mentioned that pretty much every actor in the choice is from the Joey Travolta film camp, or it has been a member at some point or another.
Yeah, so after that, it took plenty of months to edit because of the special effects, because I am not a total master on After Effects, so I did the whole thing with this app called Saber FX, so I would have to edit every keyframe, and it took quite a while given that I had school during that time and I had other things going on. So after a while, I got everything done and I uploaded the film. I think before or after Christmas Eve last year, but it was all worth it. So I guess I can't be completely disappointed. But I wasn't disappointed though. I really loved how everyone did their job and how much fun we had on set.
Awesome. And before we let you go, then let's ask you one last question.
Go ahead.
What's next? What do you want to get done in 2020?
What do I want to get done in 2020? For that, I'm going to be watching The Rise of Skywalker opening night. Hell, I might watch it twice because given how I'm taking my Star Wars YouTube channel seriously, I am trying to see if I can do like breakdown videos of certain scenes. Like, say if we discover that Rey's parents are this person and that person, and if it's someone that we all know, that's something that I can break down, and we'll see why they left her on Jakku, stuff like that. Or if they're just nobodies, I could just break down and just say, "Hey guys, it looks like the Kyle was right from the Last Jedi. Rey's parents are literally nobodies, and then they just died at the end of the movie. The end." And I'll do other breakdown videos too. And if it comes down to it, this is extremely likely I will be doing a trivia quiz on that.
Nice. And in terms of Star Wars, do you have plans for any more fan films down the road? Because there's always room for more. I still personally want to do a live action version of the Lego Freemaker Adventure Saga. So do you have any aspirations to do anything else in the realm of Star Wars in terms of a fan film?
Actually, me and John were actually talking about doing a animated little film because we a couple months ago we recently watched this animated film called Star Wars: The Tragedy of the Chosen One. It shows where Luke goes into Ben's cabin and just senses what goes on in his head, and then once he ignites his lightsaber, he just immediately stops what he's doing, but it's too late. Kylo wakes up. While Luke is unconscious, he's in this other realm when he sees the ghost of Obi-Wan and Yoda, and then he hears the voice of his father telling him what you did was kind of messed up and then how it's going to bite you soon. But then they tell you to focus and just don't let his fears take him over. But when he wakes up, he sees the temple in flames. He sees multiple of the students dead. And it just kind of transpires what could happen between The Force Awakens and A New Hope. It's a film series, it's a film movie, and that is something that I would like to see in canon, even though it's just a fan series. So me and Yoni that's his nickname. Me and John were thinking about doing since we never got to see the full Attack on the Jedi Temple, we figured that we would do like an animated short of that. So I emailed the animator, the one who did the Tragedy of the Chosen One, but unfortunately, he's not doing any commissions right now. So that's gonna be a dead idea. So me and him are doing a Star Wars film, but we don't know what it's gonna be on yet. But even if we do one, we don't think that we're gonna be adding any Jedi unless we do have a VFX supervisor on us. Because if we can get that, that will save a lot of time for me editing. Because it wasn't hard, but it was just like very long to do. Either way, even if we don't do a Star Wars fan film, rest assured that there will be a fan film. I mean, like there will be a film of some sort next year. Like we did Decisions this year. Next year it might be something else. Me and John will think of a random idea. If it comes to Star Wars, we'll think of a Star Wars thing that we can do. We were thinking about adding in Han Solo into one of them, but then we'll just say, hey, like I know cosplayers from the Steel City Con. Like if I can invite them to auditions and maybe we can pull off something that will save me money from getting merch. Like that will save me money to get props and stuff. But yeah, but that's it. Was there anything else?
No, I think that I'd do it. Otherwise, I'll just suggest you just call Jimmy Costa because he's probably the best Han Solo you'll ever see. So until then, guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Who Cares Anyway podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show with Darrell right here. Little Jonathan Peck reference there for you. Darrell, please tell the good folks where they may find you online.
All right. You can find me on YouTube. That is Darrell's Wonderland. With one R at the end, so it's DARREL''S. So you're gonna find me on YouTube, Darrell's Wonderland. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell. And we're also on Instagram at Darrell's Wonderland Official. Or you can also support us on Patreon to increase the frequency of the channel. Of course, you get rewards in return, depending on how much you donate. And the money you donate will go to new equipment, such as new microphones, computers, and when it comes down to it, if it ever comes down to it, we might just hire animators to do little shorts of parodies and whatnot. We'll see what we can get when we cross that bridge, though. So that's where you can find me at on Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube.
Awesome. Nico, where will the good folks find you online?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nico Suave Regoli, or just Nico Suave with 4 random meaningless numbers at the end on Discord, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn coming soon. # give Nico a job. You can find me over at Combat Wrestling Trivia on Facebook, Combat Wrestling Network on YouTube. The poorly made Twitter handle is at Combat Wrestling, the number 2. There is no letter G. I am the reigning, defending TMG Entertainment Chokeslam Wrestling Debate Champion of the World, and it feels so damn good to say that. And you can find me right here on Dedicated to Art and all the places Chris will say in just a moment. And finally, # Trivia for Thon to get ready because a bunch of fan league matches to help raise money for the second year in a row for the 4 Diamonds Pediatric Cancer Research Fund is coming. I will have a video up soon if I haven't uploaded one already describing the matches so far. And if you're in Orlando, you can find me there right now as the Schmodown has made its way to Orlando for this weekend.
Absolutely. And of course, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, Letterboxd, and Discord at Skywalker Dohmen. You guys can follow this great channel on Twitter and Instagram at D2A Channel. Please like our Facebook page, join our Facebook group to stay up with the conversation. Make sure you guys check out our Showdown reactions, check out our Star Wars Resistance recap show, Viva la Resistance. Our newest episode dropped on last Monday. And of course, this coming Monday, the new episode will come out, and we'll talk about it. So until next time, guys, you know what to do. Take care.
Yeah.